Hello and welcome to another edition of Community Tapestry. My name is Napoleon Bell and I'm the Executive Director with the City of Columbus Community Relations Commission. I'd like to welcome you to the program, but I'd also like to welcome my co-host who's always here, Miss
Tony Bell. It's nice to be with you again. Thanks for having me.
Well, Miss Tony Bell, you know, this has been one of those years of so much snow and cold and frigid cold, you know, freezing up water pipes. But
Let's not talk about water pipes.
I'm telling you what.
But now spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung, the weather is changing, which is great. I'm so happy to see that, you know, because, you know, with cold weather, I am not a cold weather person. I'm ready to move west. Or can I just take Columbus and move Columbus all the way west?
Yes, everybody's just we're all gonna pack up and move west.
I tell you what, I wish I could do that now. But, you know, one thing though, that we did go down to somewhere which was warm, but also warm with people.
Right.
Because we went down to Selma, Alabama, you know, and that was part of the Voting Rights Act commemoration of the bridge crossing there at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Was an amazing, just an amazing place to be with all those like-minded people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because our office, we enforce the Civil Rights Code for the City of Columbus and discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations. And so being there with those people, and also the President of the United States was there on Saturday, and he had an incredible speech. So it was an uplifting time and a warm time for all those people to be together. Now, so that kind of, you know, actually goes right into the segment that we're going to be talking about, because with that was with women's rights. And that was a topic of conversation when we were down in Selma. So I think this leads right into our great guests that we have here today.
It absolutely does, because this is the month of March, and as you well know, March is National Women's History Month. So, you know, when you think about women and you think about women and who they are, women are some of the bravest creatures on the face of the earth. They overcome amazing obstacles. They take care of their families, the people they love. They give and they keep on giving. And we have two people here who do just that. They are young professionals, but I'm telling you, what they've accomplished in this short time that they've been on Earth is paramount to someone who's lived a couple of lifetimes. So here to let's welcome our guests, Christina Vera and Mylene Sambois. Both of them have, not only do they have careers, but they've also founded an organization called 4LW, 4 Latina Women, and it has quite a number of other spin-off agencies. So let's talk to them and get this party started.
Well, I've got to get the first question in, because if I don't, I know I won't get a question in the rest of the segment.
Okay, get your one.
So let me ask both of you. I guess we'll first start with you, Christine. You know, we talked so much about, you know, that you've done so much in such a short period of time. Tell us a little bit about yourself that got you to the place of where you are. So let's start with you, Christina.
You know, I am second generation of Puerto Rican descent. Both of my parents are from Ponce, Puerto Rico. But I was born and partially raised in Brooklyn, New York. So a big part of my upbringing was very family centered, really kind of understanding the dynamics behind you know, just coming to a place of having to provide for your family and having to be creative with that providing process. So as we got older, my mom was very big on education, very big on giving back. You know, if you had a loaf of bread, everybody on your floor had a loaf of bread. So she taught us early on about the importance of community and giving. And so a big part of how I was raised was always with that mindset. You know, if you have something, pay it forward, share, you know, do what you can to help other people. And as I got older, you know, that's just something that always stood with me. And I seem to attract people like that, which is a blessing, and how I met my business partner and how she and I got into conversations about starting our nonprofit and our business in general. I'm a mother of 3 children, a wife, and you know, it's definitely something that I work very hard, and I'm very intentional about teaching my children as well. So it's just a little bit about me and my background.
Wow, and I'm going to want to follow up on that because 3 children, husband, and entrepreneur,
Yes.
making all this happen. So that's some definitely more questions. Well, I'm sure I won't get to ask them, but we'll get back to that. Now, so Mylene, tell us about yourself.
So I was born in the Dominican Republic, and I came to America when I was 12. But being raised and born in the Dominican Republic, I have a different perspective of, life when I see and compare to other people here in America. We're very family oriented as well. So I was raised with my mom and my dad and my brother, but then also very close to my grandparents. So my grandmother was a rock. Anybody that we knew in the neighborhood, if they didn't have anywhere to stay, they would stay at my grandmother's. If they used to come from the country, because we used to live in the city, if they have nowhere to go, they'll come to my grandmother. So little by little, my mother also represented that. So I call my mom Mother Teresa, because anything she has is like the world has it too. And even if I buy something for her, but somebody needs it, she'll give it to them. And I'm like, stop being like that. But little by little, I became that person too. So as I was growing up and I came to America, the goal was that we would create a better life. We were poor in Dominican, middle class, you could say. We were happy because we thought we had everything we needed, right? Then you come to America and you see so much more. You're like, well, we really didn't have that much, but we were happy, right? You walk everywhere, so working out was not a problem or a question ever. And then coming to America, I realized that it was just not about us. It was about the people that we left back home, that we had to continue to support with what we made here, right? So it's the history or the story of every immigrant that comes to America. They just don't come for themselves. So when I was in school, one of the biggest things my mom said is you have to go to school, you have to graduate, you have to get a degree. Is the only thing that no one can ever take away from you. So that was engraved in me. Like even at nights when I was working for school, she was always right next to me with my coffee, like, okay, here it is, but you can go to sleep until you finish that paper. Because it's the only thing that nobody will ever take away from you, right? So I learned so much from my mom. Even though she was only a 3rd grader, she never got an education. For her, education was the key to success. And as a woman, she never said, oh, you're a woman, you can't do that. It was always because you're a woman, you can do that. And coming from a country like ours where women don't have that much of a voice, it was very different to hear my mom speak like that. I call her a psychologist too, even though she never has a degree, right? But she helped the whole family. So when my grandmother passed away, my mom became the rock of the family. And then just like she helped my grandmother, then I'm the one that helps her now, and I'm the one that takes care of her. So in our family, we learn you take care of each other, and you're there for each other, no matter what. No matter what you do, you still support. So that same thing that we encounter in my family, I kind of take it away also to the world. And when I was in school, I made great friends that helped me get through when I didn't speak English. So that's, probably other questions that will come later. How did you come to where you are with no knowledge of the language? I was blessed enough that I had supporters in school that helped me to get to college. And then I got an education. So when I came from the Dominican Republic, I went to New York. First stop for every immigrant in Dominican, I think. Then I came to Ohio. I did high school here. I did college in New York. And then I came back to Ohio. And I was blessed enough to go through a program, Latino Mentoring Academy, that connected me to Christina, my business partner, which is an amazing woman. And even though she's Puerto Rican, I'm Dominican, and people say that should never be connected, right? That's a myth. I mean, I have the most amazing friend, best business partner in the world. And, we're from similar islands. So when we started talking, we actually knew that we had so much similarities. And our similarities became similarities of so many women in Columbus. That's how our organization got started, because we saw the need that we had. And then now we wanted to be that support to the other women and girls in the community.
So what is the need that the rest of the women that you see have, and how are you filling it?
That's a great question. A lot of times the conversations that Mylene and I would encounter when we were out networking and connecting and volunteering was just that sense of sisterhood, that sense of support, where, you had women coming from either other countries or other states, and they just felt alone. They didn't feel, a sense of family or a sense of, direct connection to any particular organization or just, social circle. So in the beginning of our business ventures, we were like, okay, how can we connect those women with each other, and so a big part was just figuring out, okay, how can we be more intentional about making sure not only are we connecting them with other people, but also with the resources that already exist within the city. That seemed to be like the main focus in the beginning, just finding, kind of being that middle person, just say, this is so-and-so and this is so-and-so, meet each other and, and connect. And so as time progressed, we started to notice an even bigger trend behind a lot of those conversations where, childhood things, lack of enrichment opportunities, lack of, educational opportunities, so a lot of conversations began to center around childhood memories, things that they wish they had been exposed to, or they wish they would have had an opportunity to be a part of. And Mylene and I had further dialogue about, when we were kids, thinking about some of the amazing events and programs we've been able to participate in as adults that were like, man, like had we had that opportunity at 10, 11, 12, how impactful that could have been on us for the rest of our lives. So taking the time to not only have those conversations with women we didn't really know, but also further learning each other because we had met as adults and being open enough to be honest and be real with each other about what we needed as women and being, that listening person for the women we were meeting. So with that being said, it really opened our eyes to saying, okay, we can't only just connect people. We can't only just be a meeting place for resources. We need to also meet the children halfway. And that's kind of where the element of our girls' focus came into play, specifically based on the responses from the women we were meeting and conversations she and I had about our own upbringing.
So tell us about the organization that you founded and its subsidiaries.
So initially, we started out as a for-profit entity. 4L for Latinas was specifically founded to, provide workshops and trainings and be a connecting resource for women to meet one each other and, make them feel more at place with being in the city of Columbus. And then with that being said, we decided that there were a lot of women that we were meeting and their daughters who just basically didn't feel like either they could afford to be a part of such trainings and workshops or that they didn't know how to be a part of such things. Unfortunately, there can be sometimes a stigma where if you don't know somebody, then you're out. If you're not given that opportunity of here's a ticket, like come with me to this event or this gala, you're out. And so Mylene and I were like, this can't happen. Like, this isn't fair. Like, how are we really building and impacting a generation if we're not giving them the opportunities and the resources to experience the types of things that we're experiencing as professionals already. So with that being said, we wanted to take a similar model of our for-profit business, which was the trainings and the workshops and the retreats and the enrichment opportunities, and give it to little to no cost for the community. So that's where Femergy was founded. It's female energy, so all of our programs and resources are always centered around girls and women, and that's exactly what we do. We have a literacy program that we run throughout the academic school year where we serve grades 6 through 12. We have made exception for 5th grade girls, especially if it's a 5th grade girl who just is very passionate about reading and can handle the material that's usually covered. So we partner with various colleges to be able to provide that program for free, and the program usually runs in increments of 6 to 7 weeks. So every 6 to 7 weeks, we switch to a new cycle, which means we get a new book, and it's usually centered around a new enrichment theme. So things from art to creative writing to culinary. So each cycle is centered around a different focus and a different piece of literature. And then in the summers, we provide a sports and fitness camp. So Chica Sports and Fitness is an opportunity for girls to connect during the summer. So it's summertime can be, stressful for parents. What do we do with our kids while
That's
we're
right.
still working? So we want to be able to infuse educational opportunities and physical and wellness opportunities. So we focus our energy heavily on bringing nutritionists, fitness providers, organized sports professionals so that girls are able to still connect, but they are doing something constructive and
So do
healthy.
you have any stories? Tell us a story about some child or a woman that you've impacted and how they blossomed from there.
So when we did our first cycle of Girls High Reading Ohio, a literacy program, we wanted to do something just to get the girls together to read a book and have something to do in the summer. It was just a summer program. We had no idea that it would turn into what it is right now, but God always has plans, right? So that program, we had a group of core girls, some of the daughters of friends that we knew, and some of them were being bullied at school. We had no idea, right? So in the beginning, they were a little shy to talk. Specifically, one girl did not want to talk about the issues she was having at school, but her mom talked to us separately. So we didn't want to push the issue. You learn as you work with youth, you have to let them develop on their own time and share at their own time. But we opened, the book that we were reading was Letters to a Young Sister by Hill Harper. Great book, right? So one of the stories was about that, how she was being peer pressured to things, and the girls got to talk, and at that point she opened. And she said, I'm going through this. We believe in peer counseling and peer guidance. So the girls told her what they would do in that situation. We provided our support and our feedback after that. So the program was over and we saw, I'm sure improvements are being made. Then we made a video where the girls got to actually share what was the program to them, what did it mean to them. And in that video, she talked about that. Wow. She said, I overcame this, now I love who I am. Because she was, being Latina, she didn't know where she fit in. Now she's like, I love who I am, and you must love who I am. If not, get away from my life, right? So that was so impactful to us because I guess we had not seen or understood what impact our work was doing in the community and specifically in life of girls. And you see so many things, and to me, what we do is saving lives. We're saving a girl's life one day at a time.
That's right.
So.
Let me ask a question.
Hey, you can a question.
You jumped right in.
I've got to get in here because it's, I see that you guys are making a great impact on the lives of so many young people. Well, who was that person that made that impact on both of you? Who was that guiding force, or that who gave you that passion but also kept you centered, but that person that you look up to, or that person that mentored you throughout your upbringing into where you are today?
I definitely think Mylene and I are both in agreement about our mothers. I think that, as a woman, whether you are a mother or you're a mentor or you're an aunt or a grandmother, you hold such power in shaping young girls. And my mother was that person for me. I mean, she definitely early on, taught me about the responsibilities of, being a woman and what that meant. And in the Latin culture, certain years are celebrated more than others. And it's like there's a certain point when you're around that 12, 13 year where you're kind of transforming more into womanhood, and really just understanding, at the time, you're like, why is my mom so strict, and why is she, why can't I go with my friends, and why can't I do this, and you look back, and now I'm so appreciative because she structured me in a way that until you become a mom or you become an adult, you don't really necessarily know what they're doing while they're doing it. So I'm always apologizing now as an adult for fighting her on certain things because you don't understand it. But she taught me early on about the importance of education, the importance of financial understanding, like understanding your finances, understanding, that you do have a voice and that you do have the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do. And so, for me, for years, I just thought she was the only woman like that. You just like, my mom is like superwoman, until you get older and you realize there are so many amazing women just like her, and you just want to be around them, and you just want to be able to learn and serve alongside of these women. And I've been so blessed to have had so many mentors in my adult life, in addition to my mother, that have really taken the time out of their busy schedules to check in with me, to give me advice, to coach me. And I mean, I'm blessed beyond measure because family is one thing. For some people, they're blessed to have family who are truly vested in the growth and success of their children or their family members, but to also find people who have no relation and have no obligation to do so, to take such interest in saying, I'm going to make sure that this young woman is successful. It's so humbling and it's so overwhelming because you're like, wow, like the love that people take to do something like that, it just takes your breath away. I mean, literally. So for me, that's me.
Mylene?
So my mommy, so in Spanish we call her mommy. From little, for all the struggles that she had, she always was able to push through, right? So if she had to make food at home to sell it to my dad, construction worker, so they can make money and we can eat, that's what she did. So she found ways to make sure that we always had, a nice dress or nice clothing, and also the necessities in the house. So I saw that early. I just thought it was normal. You do what you have to do. So growing up, my mom, I would say, was my role model and the person that made me who I am today. So without her, I won't be here. then you come into the States, and then I didn't know English, right? So I used to be made fun of all the time because of my accent. I try to get rid of it. I learned you
don't
can't.
have an accent now.
I say that. Thank you, Napoleon.
Right.
I've been telling people this, but
Yes.
they don't listen. So for years, I tried to get rid of it. Really, I tried. But then I had to learn and embrace that it's not going to go away. And I had a specific teacher in high school, at Reynoldsburg High School. Her name was Miss Cox. And I was in AP English, so imagine, I didn't speak English that well, but I could read and I could write, so she believed in me, and she nominated me for the Millennium Gates Scholarship. Now, I never heard of that before. I didn't know that existed. I was nominated, I was surprised, but she believed in me. She saw more than the other people did. So she said, you know, you could definitely go to college and you can become whatever you want. And that to me was such an impactful thing because, yes, my mom has always said that. And because your mom says that, you're like, that's right, that's my mother, right? But then a teacher comes and tells you that. And then I had a group of girlfriends in high school. I mean, it was like 12 of us. And they helped me write my essay because I could write it in Spanish very pretty. And then to make it make sense really fully in English, right? It was a whole different story. Right. So they kind of like came around me and became like this force of helping each other get through. It was 12 girls. All of us graduated. None of us married before we got graduated. All of us without children at the time. Like, it was like such a very different type of group. But what we realized, we had very dedicated parents, very strict parents. We were not allowed to sleepovers. We were not allowed to go to after. If there was a dance, we had to be home at a certain time. So it was movies. The older we got, the stricter our curfews got. It was very different than the usual American way, right? So try and talk to my dad about that. But that helped us because we all went to college. We all getting our degrees. If we don't have it already, like we do, some of us are actually getting it right now at our 30s. So that was a great support. So that showed me that when people come together and support you, you could be so great. But I didn't have that at a very, very early age. I had it later. So for us, that's what we're trying to give to the girls. That's why I can model that because I saw that, you know, and it really made a difference. That teacher taking interest in me, where other teachers at a different school, which I don't want to mention names, kind of told me, like, you're not going to get anywhere. You might as well just finish this and then figure out what you're going to do with your life. And I thought that was it. But my parents moved me from school, moved me to Reynoldsburg, and that changed my life.
Wow, that's really amazing. I often think about the ripple in the water. You know, you never know what you're leaving behind, but the people who supported you, your parents, your teachers, your community, they didn't realize the impact that they left on your lives. And I can only imagine that, you know, 10 years from now, you'll have more of an idea of the impact that you two are leaving on so many other women's lives. So when do you sleep?
That's so funny you say that because we text each other all the time. Be 2 in the morning, and I'm like, "Why are you up?" But we do try to be healthy about it, right? Because we're working out, so you have to have energy for that. So you have to sleep. So we're trying to get 5 to 6, 7.
How's that working for you? It feels like a Dr. Phil moment. How's that working?
Right. Well,
for
my
you?
Fitbit could tell you differently. We're shooting for 7. Right now we're at 5.
Okay.
It's a process.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think with a professional wife, mother, daughter, full-time student, it's really figuring out the balance and the boundaries. I don't have the answer, so don't ask me what that is, the balance is. But I know we are becoming more intentional about our personal time. Like personally, like I used to bring my phone in my bedroom at night and put it on my nightstand, and I've done better by leaving it in the living room.
Anything.
You
don't get to chime in.
Yeah, so I would do that. We'd be in the middle of watching a movie and I'm like checking my email. So it's hard work, but we love what we do, so we never want to stop doing it.
Well, I think that having balance is important because not only are you running an organization or a number of them, young women are looking at the way you govern your lives and your time. So the more protective you are with it, and the more you can set good, healthy boundaries for living your life and doing your work, I think that'll help the next generation not be, workaholics to a fault as well.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask a question because we've talked about 4LW and we're talked about Femergy. What's your plan from here? I mean, you've got these 2 businesses going now. and you're very passionate. You're not workaholics, but they're very passionate
Passionate
about
workers
about
who
the
work all
work.
the time.
Where do you see yourself? I mean, in 5 years, what's the goals here?
That's a great question. You know, we see us going national. Like for us, Ohio is our foundation state. We want to be able, you know, because we love the city of Columbus and the opportunities that we've been afforded while being here. But for us, there's girls and women all over the world that need the same type of resources and support that we've identified here. So for us, next year, actually, we're looking to expand within the state of Ohio. But within the next 5 years, we want to be, you know, in other countries. So finding people in those, we've identified a few potential countries that we want to start off in. So making those initial connections and being able to start chapters there, and eventually, you know, splitting our time to where we can physically be there to start up these programs and these organizations. So right now it's just about getting the model right, getting the footwork down, getting the foundation together, so that we can now, you know, open our minds a little bit bigger than just ourselves and just our city, and take the work and the message that we're passionate about and spreading it, you know, to other countries.
Wow. How can people get involved? I mean, because I'm sure our viewing audience is watching this, and they're jazzed up about
They're
it.
chomping at the bit going,
Right.
oh my gosh, I want to
Yeah,
help.
this is perfect. Yeah. So how do people get involved?
I mean, definitely visit our website, www.femergy.org, Femergy. And on there, we do our best to update people. We put all of our information on all of our programs. We have a donation tab. We have volunteer information. We have intern information, because we are not just a two-person team. There's a whole army of individuals who are behind us every day, working with us to figure out how we can be better and how we can impact more people. So I would certainly encourage anyone who's just as passionate about girls and women as we are to reach out to us, you know, via email or social media, because we are opening our table to all women and all girls, and we are definitely interested in being a collaborative organization and working with other people to do the work that we're doing.
Now, do you have a Facebook page or a phone number and all that for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so we do. We have a Facebook page. It's 4L for Latinas. We are on Twitter at 4Latinas, Instagram, Pretty Girls Read and Sweat. So those are our IG names. So definitely look us up on any of our social media, website information, and we would love to connect and to meet them.
Excellent, excellent.
Wow, well, you two are amazing ripples. Thank you for all that you do, and I can clearly see that you are the change that you'd like to see in the world. So thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for all you do.
Well, I like to say thank you. I can get this word in. I like to say thank you
Got
again.
lots of words in.
Yes, I guess a few. No, seriously, for what you do, because there are so many young women and men out there that are in boys and what have you that need that mentorship. And it sounds like that is exactly what you're providing for those who don't potentially have that mother or that father that's helping guide them. But also very evident that even as you got older, you know, you had those persons who were around you helping you through this. And so hopefully that'll transcend into others doing the same thing for our young people, and as they grow older, to continue having that village around them.
Thank you for being our community. You're just wonderful people. Look forward to seeing what else you have. We'll have you back on again.
All right. Great. Thanks for being here. And we'd like to thank our viewing audience for being here. And we'll be right back after these words.